this is Caeli with the Brain Trust on OG Wobble for a dubstep mix. I'm with Gramatik. He's here playing with Too Fresh and Mimosa in Boston at Wonder Bar, and we're so happy to have you here. How's it going?
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. It's going great so far. I've had a pretty fun time so far touring with Too Fresh and Mimosa. I'm doing like 10 more dates, and then I'm going to the West Coast with Pretty Lights. I'm doing 15 more dates on the West Coast. And it's my second US tour actually, and I'm very excited about it. It's awesome.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about where you're from?
Well, I come from a country called Slovenia. It's in Central Europe. It's right on the northern border of Italy. And it's a small country actually. It's 2 million people population.
Wow.
So yeah, I come from the coast. It's on Adriatic Sea. So I basically grew up with around the sea. That's basically in a nutshell.
How did you get into jazz and rhythm and blues and soul funk?
It started pretty early, I guess, because when I was a kid, even in kindergarten, I really liked, my dad used to have these old Beatles and Barry White, records, and I really, I kind of enjoyed that sound from the start, early on, and then afterwards, when my parents once bought me they were in Singapore on the vacation, and they bought me a Yamaha, like this really small kiddie synthesizer, which had a sampler in it. That was like in late 80s, and I was a kid. I was still maybe first class, something like that, and I couldn't get off of it. And then they got me piano lessons, and then in 4th grade we started our first band. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, and we were the youngest band in the history of our elementary school, and playing Beatles and stuff like that, rhythm and blues in general, some rock, stuff like that.
What is it that you love so much about sampling? Like, what is it that made you start producing?
I discovered sampling, pretty late. When I was listening, I was already listening to hip hop around 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade. And I didn't realize, like a lot of those, great rap records actually had samples in it from funk, soul, and jazz and disco tracks from the 70s and 60s. And when I realized that, because I was a kid, and at that time internet wasn't that, common or, how to say, circulative, with information that you can easily discover that. Nowadays you got Wikipedia, you got Google, there was nothing like that back then, and I discovered it. I was like, wow, it's actually, you can make, a song from different chops and beats and pieces from other songs, and I found that really an amazing craft. It was really I can actually take, a bass line from this rhythm and blues track, filter it out as just the bass, and then I take a piano from I don't know, Chopin or Mozart or whatever, and then I take violins from this ethno track from Hungary and make a completely, alone standing, track for just to incorporate bits and pieces for me was like something that elevated electronic music, to the completely different level. Some people, you got purists in the industry that don't like sampling, they think that you're snatching somebody else's ideas off to make your own music. But I think as long as you do it creatively enough, it's easy to take a loop and just put your beats on it, just take a funk, a funk or a soul loop from a track from the 70s and put your own kick and a snare to it. That anybody can do that, but I always try. I started like that, and then I figured it out that if you want to make it really creative, not just to be snatching other people's music, you gotta be, able to chop it off and add other songs. My challenge is to bring 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different songs, just bits and pieces out of that, and create a completely new song.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about sampling.
Can you tell us about your process for making music? Is there something that you do every time? Is there a certain way that you do it?
Well, no, there is no particular way for me, but I mean, what kind of music I do, it depends on the mood, you know, because I like to do a lot of stuff, from old school, hardcore hip hop beats, just raw beats with samples and, beats. And then I like to do a lot of electro glitch hop, dubstep, even electro house sometimes, whatever, wherever I feel like it. And that, but I always trying to keep, because all those genres at some point developed from, those elemental genres like jazz, soul, blues, and funk. They all developed from that. So I always hated, putting them electronic music. It's like based on that, on those four fodder genres. So I've never been fond of the idea of putting in special compartments, subgenres and subgenres, because it all evolved from that. So until if you can feel the funk and the groove, it doesn't matter if it has a 4/4 beat or a broken beat. For me, it matters if it moves me. Like it's only good or bad music. It's pointless to define it beyond that. For me.
Well, are there any upcoming projects you're working on? Anything you want to tell us about?
Well, right now I'm promoting my new album that just came out on Cold Busted Records from Denver, and it's called No Shortcuts. It's a very special merge and fusion of raw hip-hop beats, like massive kicks and snares, and really it's kind of combining dubstep and glitch hop in a I think in a soulful way. I got still a lot of soulful samples in it, and funk and soul and jazz samples, but it's all like really heavy on the bass lines and heavy on the beats. So this is what I'm touring right now and promoting, and so far it's been my most successful album. It got out like early July, I think. Yeah, late. It was June 30th. Yeah. So and then for the future, right now I don't have any projects. I'm working on an EP, but that's about it. I'm trying to see how the people will react to this new album, and then see if I feel really good about it now. I'm touring it, so just to see, if it's just me or the people actually feel the same way about this album as I do, because I think it really brings something new to the table, something that everybody can relate to, whether you listen to hip hop or glitch hop or electro or dubstep. It's a combined mixture of everything.
All right, well, I'm really looking forward to the EP. Thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you, and I'm looking forward to the show tonight.
Again, this is Caeli with OG Wobble on Dubstep Mix and the Brain Trust. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to it. Nice to meet you.